Alright, let's get started with the classic purple marabou prawn. It's a fly tied probably 20, 23, 24 years ago. Probably not my pattern, but one that I like to use a lot before the early 2000 intruder invasion. Let's get started. Just going to close up the return loop here, advance my thread down. First thing I'm going to do is put a little tag on here with some medium-sized mylar, pearl mylar. I'm just going to wind down to just around the hook point, touching turns along the way there. I'm going to leave this on the bottom for my rib after. Like that. Next thing I'm going to pop in there is the tail. You could use polar bear, bucktail, whatever you have, black bear. This one I'm just going to use a little bit of polar bear because I happen to have some. Not too much. This is kind of like a lavender almost color. It's a really cool color in the water. And not too long. And right on top. Secure that down nice. Next I'm going to tie in a fluorescent purple hackle. Could have tied this down with the tail, but let's just secure everything separately. Makes it good and solid. There we go. Let's get ready for the body here. Just going to double body of Angora. It's a pretty long fiber, so it can be a little bit tricky to dub, but just try not to use too much. This is like a cross between a woolly bugger and a Alaska boo pattern or something like that. I think one of the reasons I started using it and tying it was because it was easier to tie than an actual general practitioner style fly. And just dub a nice thin kind of tapered body all the way up there. And we don't want to crowd our eye too much, so make sure you leave lots of room there. Just trim anything out of the way there. I think that's good. First I'm going to take my rib up, 4 or 5 turns of that. Secure that down. Well, last thing you want to do is have your rib uncoil on you. Next I'm just going to wrap the hackle up. I just try and wrap it up next to the mylar, as close as you can, just like you would with a woolly bugger. And just finish in the front with a couple of turns. One thing I learned from watching old VHS tapes of Alec Jackson was to leave yourself some room, but always try and have a working area of bare hook. Makes for a nice small head at the end. So you can see I've got very little thread at the front there, but I'm tied in well. Next I'm going to get my marabou ready. This is some Fish Hunter marabou. Really good. This is a fluorescent purple, or a UV purple. Really good quality. And just tie it in by the tip. But I'm going to leave the tip on there and wrap it back. I'm going to cut that stem off after. That little tip right here, this guy. I'm going to wind it back. That way I don't pull it out I'm going to lick my fingers a little bit. I'm going to wind around. Just a couple, 3 turns probably. Not too much. There, like that. Tie that off. Again, see, I've got lots of. I'm going to go back in here. And some guys will yank that out, but I've had it break before, and then all your marabou comes unraveled. Next I'm going to do a little collar of pheasant, just black pheasant, just to tidy it up here. You can see I still have lots of space, but also nice small area there. Again, I left the tag on there so I can cut that off after. Fold that. Just gives it a good little contrast. And again, I'm on bare hook there. With lots of room. Alright, the last thing I'm going to pop on there is the top. These can be a bit tricky. This is just from a pheasant, dyed golden pheasant, black. You can't get these anymore apparently, but there's other options. Just getting these guys ready here. Alright, let's hope for the best here. Learned this one a few years back. Throw your stems through the eye of the hook. Yeah, I like that. That looks good. First time. Secure that down there. Okay. Now with these stems, we're going to pull them through the bottom. And what that does is it locks them in there, and they can't get pulled out, which is awful when you're fishing and your fly's falling apart. Give these a little trim. I'm using these razor scissors from Dr. Slick. They're unreal, actually. Very sharp. So I left myself lots of room there, and a lot of times I'll like to keep a nice little head, so I'll just unwrap a few turns, and then just set that up. Do four or five turns there with my whip finish tool. Lock that in there. And trim. You can use a lot of these little tips with the head or wrapping stuff in for all kinds of different flies. Trout flies, steelhead flies, bass flies. There you go. And I just throw a little head cement on there. If you ever watched Alec Jackson's tying videos, he puts 3 or 4 coats on. It looks like a little bead. Just do one at a time, because if you try and do it too thick, there you go. Nice little head there. When it comes to the heads, I really like them nice and small. You can kind of ruin a fly sometimes if you have a head that ends up being too big and kind of messy. Anyway, that's the purple marabou prawn, and here's a couple other variations of it in different colors. Here's the orange one. This has been a good one too. Like I said, I think I probably started tying these just because I'm lazy. And then the black one. These ones I added a little GP pheasant at the back there, the tippet, which you could do. That's a little bit different hook, but great flies all around. That's it. Thanks for watching.